One night a guy named Victor woke up on the second floor of his country house. I woke up from something unclear, either from a bad dream or from some rustling that was sometimes heard in different corners. Very often something bothered Victor here and prevented him from sleeping through the night without waking up. He quickly woke up from sleep and realized that he was thirsty. Quickly descending the stairs with creaking steps, he walked past the basement and an empty room to the kitchen connected to the living room. Cold water began to flow quickly from the tap into the glass. It seemed that the higher the glass was filled, the faster the water flowed. Having filled the glass to the brim, Victor drank all the water in one gulp and felt the same pleasure that everyone is familiar with. After that, he wanted to drink another glass, but was surprised to find that the faucet did not obey him. The water did not want to be collected, and when the cold lever was turned, the faucet began to shake nervously, so Victor had no desire to collect water again. Moving away from the tap, he looked out the window at the wonderful lake, which was located not far from the house. It was so black and so inviting. It was illuminated by a magical full moon, which formed a path leading into the impenetrable darkness. But Victor was attracted not by the lake itself, but by something else. A girl of about 7 years old was sitting on a small wooden pier with her back to the house. She was doing something with interest, without turning around or changing her position. It seemed strange to Victor. What can such a little girl do at night alone on the pier? Victor asked himself. Maybe she got lost. I think I'll go and find out the answer to my question. Maybe you need help. He quickly put on a t-shirt with shorts and sandals on his naked body and went outside. It was a warm July night, a weak breeze was blowing, there were almost no stars in the sky. After leaving through the gate, he headed to the lake along a rough road in places. Almost coming close to the pier, Victor suddenly noticed that the girl had disappeared. There were no footprints anywhere or anything else that could convey the idea that the girl just got up and went home. But how? She had to pass by Victor, she didn't go into the lake. Oh, what is it? Victor exclaimed when he came to the edge of the pier, but did not notice how he stepped on something soft with his foot. It's probably her toy, left. God, why is she so? This doll was very ordinary, resembling a human girl. But she was scratched, cut up, with her eyes gouged out. The doll even seemed familiar to Victor, but he did not attach much importance to this. After looking at the lake from the pier and noticing nothing, Victor wanted to go home and go to bed again, but he saw a strange phenomenon. Somewhere in the middle of the lake, bubbles were visible, the water was boiling. Our hero was a little scared, because he remembered the thought that came to his mind earlier. She didn't go into the lake. We need to check. I won't sleep all night, I'll suffer. Victor thought, and he took a boat standing next to him with an oar, sat in it and swam to that place. The closer Victor got to the middle of the lake, the more restless he became. He couldn't understand what such a little girl could be doing here alone at night, where she disappeared to and what is it. He had no answers to all these questions. At some point, Victor, approaching the boiling point, looked to the left and saw something so terrible that he almost fell into the water. Not far from the side, dead bodies were floating on the lake. Male, female, and children. Their faces, looking up at the sky, were terribly pale, and some even distorted with a grimace of horror. Victor himself turned pale from this. The dead were also floating to the right. They seemed to surround him. My God, what is this? Victor exclaimed, it's impossible. Greatly frightened by the phenomenon, our hero did not notice how he swam to that bubbling point in the middle of the lake. But now he deeply regretted that curiosity got the better of him. In addition, he was horrified to hear groans and sighs coming from behind him. The dead came to life and disturbed the water. He closed his ears and eyes, thinking that this was a dream, that he needed to wake up. Why am I not waking up? Why? Victor moaned. Suddenly he felt that everything was quiet. Moans, sighs, sounds of water. As if it was a dream. Victor looked at the bubbling point in front of the water and noticed that nothing was bubbling anymore. Suddenly, the body of the same girl with coal black eyes, pale arms and legs, surfaced from the bottom. The girl just lay still for a while, like all the dead. But then Victor saw that her black eyes were moving. Their menacing gaze met Victor's frightened gaze. The girl got up and clung to the boat with her slimy little hands. Hello, brother. The girl suddenly said in her vile voice. Don't you recognize me? Have you forgotten me? Victor recoiled from the bow of the boat. He recognized that face, those eyes, those black hair. Lisa, what is it? He asked uncertainly. Is that you? I guessed it. So I haven't forgotten. Lisa said, laughing a venomous laugh. Well, how do you live? Is there a sense of guilt in your soul? I don't understand, began Victor. Don't you dare lie to me. The girl screamed, climbing even higher. Have you really forgotten that day, huh? Do you remember how we came here for the weekend with Dad and Mom? Don't you remember? How lazy you were to go swimming, which is not new for you, however, because laziness, as you know, was born ahead of you. I went with my parents. It would be good if you came in about 10 minutes, as you usually do. But no, you did it differently. You plugged your ears with those damn headphones so you couldn't hear anyone or anything around you. As a result, it played a cruel joke on you and you stopped using them. There are algae so high in this lake that you can get stuck in them up to your knees. And they are nasty, slippery, nasty. At first I was confused. I swam too far away from my parents, they had to pull me out, but they couldn't, they got confused themselves, and all three of us gradually sank to the bottom. Where were you, huh? He was lying in headphones. We called you, dear Victor, but you didn't hear us, you betrayed us. You knew about these algae, but you didn't care. It's not like that. Victor exclaimed, losing patience. It's not true. I knew and warned you not to swim far, especially you. But you swam. Don't you dare accuse me and Mom and Dad. The girls screamed. We needed you, you could save us. It's all your fault. Yes, son, she's right. Said a bald man of about 45 who appeared to the left of the side. You could have saved us. I could, of course I could. A woman of about 37 with curly hair and a mole on her neck who appeared on the right exclaimed. But he didn't come when we needed him. I'm sorry that I raised such a son, very sorry. Mom. Victor began to cry. Forgive me. These were Victor's last words. The dead began to crowd the boat from all sides. Some of them climbed on her in droves and surrounded the pathetic teenager. They opened their mouths, baring their terrible teeth and wanting to attack. Others rocked the boat from the sides in the hope that it would fall. That's how it all ended. An overturned boat, impenetrable darkness, a dimming moon, cold water and a bunch of dead people pulling you into their world. It was like that for a few seconds. Then it all disappeared. The darkness was replaced by a harsh light. Victor woke up tied to the bed. People in white coats stood around him and stared at him intently. How are you, dear Victor? Professor Dmitriev asked in a brown suit, smoking a pipe and releasing rings. Moved away. What the hell? Why am I here? Exclaimed Victor. Where is my family? I saw them. Victor, come to your senses. Said the professor with a tone that showed that it was not the first time he had heard this. You're in a psychiatric clinic. Have you forgotten? You were placed here after the death of your relatives. Everyone blamed you, your psyche was disturbed. When they found you, you were so lost. Let me go free, Victor shouted and started kicking. They didn't take me anywhere. Where are my parents? Where is my sister? We have to go swimming, the weather is so beautiful. Where are they? Where am I? Victor began to cry. He remembered that such visions came to him quite often, and always when he woke up, he was surrounded by all these people. And so it has been for 3 years. I wash my hands of it. Dmitriev whispered in the ear of one of the doctors. I do not know how to deal with it, it is incurable. It's too bad, give it to me. And the man in white handed the professor a huge syringe with poison. Noticing him, Victor began to fight in hysterics and yell so loudly that it seemed you could hear it all over the street. No, Victor was hysterical. I'm sorry, dear, the professor sighed, bringing the syringe to his throat. I'm afraid nothing will save you now.